Hey everybody, how you folks doing today? Happy Wednesday. Glad you're able to find it here. Harishi likes cars. Definitely no longer than 9. I get bored of hearing my own voice, so, and it's just the class wasn't designed to be lecture for 3 hours and 45 minutes anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Alright, hope you folks are doing well. Let me grab our schedule here. Hopefully you're here for data structures. Let's see, let me get that. There we go. Good afternoon, Ray. Hi, J. Melanino. Ocha. Cheers. Happy Wednesday, folks. But somewhere between 8 and 9. We'll talk about the plan and the schedule for everything. Hey, Hayes. Did you folks take the syllabus quiz already? My goodness, you are overachievers. Hi, I'm Eric. That's me right there. Eric. Cool. Hope you're doing well. This is CIS 2353, Data Structures for the summer. Hey, Professor Perp, you're around again? That's right, you got 2 classes. It's going to be quite the summer. BF Sloan, good to see you. Hayes, no, I just stream classes. I'm boring. No one wants to watch me play games anyway. I'm pretty terrible at Counter-Strike. But it's fun getting back into CSGO. It's been quite a while since I played. 2353, King. Yeah, 2151 was last night. This is data structures, like the 3rd course in the track. Code, we all suck at CSGO. Hey, Stormstacks. Okay, awesome. You got NetBeans to work? Very cool. Yeah, it's a slight struggle to get it set up initially, but then we're up and running, and everything should be fine. Just don't uninstall it an hour before class starts. It says 2151 for the title? Did I not change it? Thought I changed it. Oh, yep. Oh, thank you. Yep, I changed the name, but not the numbers. 2353. Thank you. I will go change that. All right, if you don't bother refreshing, because it'll just reload everything. But I did change the title. Thank you. I have to make myself a note. Change title in the export. It keeps the original title when you export stuff, so thank you for catching that. You get 10 bonus points. Sadly, though, the bonus points aren't actually worth anything. They're not real. They're just pretend. All right, so this is 2353. I am Eric. Hopefully you had a chance to check out my profile here in the D2L content section. I've got a little profile. Can you pass this class with over 100%? I don't typically offer extra credit, ever, in college classes. There's like a bonus point or 2 on quizzes for some of the other classes that have supplemental instruction, but other than that, no. All right, this is me. I'm pretty easy to Google. I'm the only Eric Janeski out there. Is my LinkedIn profile in case you don't know how to Google. I love all things games, technology, nerd things. I'm technically on pause at the moment on a leave of absence, but working on my Doctor of Engineering degree over at U of M Dearborn, researching federated machine learning applications in mobility. It's actually really interesting. I've got 6 kids. They definitely keep me busy, especially with the home learning going on. It takes up way more time than you'd imagine. And I am training for a marathon. If I can ever get back to running, I'll be running the Freep International Marathon in October. No, it's a Doctor of Engineering, not a PhD. There's a distinction there, but I'm still not exactly sure what the difference is. I still have to do a dissertation. And I do play D&D mostly weekly with 3 of my kids and some friends. We've got that going. Here's a little snapshot of the stack of games that's behind my shoulder right there. This is my contact info. I should change this here. Very similar. Yep, very similar to a PhD. There's politics involved over at the process with the PhD program at U of M Dearborn, but it's okay. Don't call me at 8 in the morning. It's summer. I will not be up at 8. We'll say 10 a.m. Anytime between 10 a.m. and midnight is perfectly fine. Call or text. If I'm busy, I won't answer, but just leave me a voicemail. Let me know what time is good to call you back, because I'm usually up late and never early. You can find me over email. You can find me on Discord. Hopefully you got a chance. You found the link for the Discord server and you joined that. That's a great place to chat, find other folks. I've got a channel for all the classes and so on, and just other post memes to the meme channel. I always love seeing fresh memes. It's good stuff. Let's see if this is going to cooperate tonight. Lots of coffee. There. Yeah, so if you put emotes in chat, they'll float through the screen there for fun. Fresh cup of coffee, a cup of coffee and a fresh meme in the morning, for sure. Batman. Hydration, thank you so much. Stay hydrated. Oh, a dad joke already, you got it. Yep, so you can use your channel points here for ridiculous things, and I love telling dad jokes, so just give me a second. I save them anytime I see them for you folks, just for you to enjoy. You still eating? What?
Do you have a computer charger?
The Mac one? Is this one right here? You got that? Okay. All right. Let's see. So, do you folks remember the Where's Waldo books from when we were all kids? And they're like just pictures of busy everything. You had to find Waldo. I found out why he wears stripes. Because he doesn't want to be spotted. All right, here's our syllabus. Hopefully you had a chance to see this before. My contact info again. I don't have office hours fixed yet. I've got a little survey you can take. If you give me a second, let me grab that. Where did I post that one? It's in one of these channels here. Give me a second. There we go. It's a when to meet link. I'll post this for you folks. So put in the times that are best for you for office hours, and I will plan accordingly. So I've got 5.5 hours of office hours to plug into the best fitting times for people. And I'll try and have a range of it. So I offered anytime between 9 and 5, and anytime between 10 and midnight. So just depending on summer schedules and things. Yeah, I tried not to do anything on the weekend. I didn't want any standing office hours on the weekend. I'm trying to keep that free to do stuff with the kids. If you are busy during the week, and that's the only time you can meet, we can do something by appointment. Usually that's going to be late at night, though, after my kids are in bed. Yeah, 8 a.m. on the weekend, King, if you call, I'm definitely not answering. All right, so I'll post this link for you folks for the office hours, and I'll determine what they are, and I'll let you know what my standing hours are. During the regular office hours, I'm at my computer sitting here, either meeting with you folks or sitting around grading, ready to answer questions, issues, respond really quickly during my office hours, unless I'm in a meeting with somebody, and then maybe it'll take a little bit off. Oh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know the difference, King. This is what I get for being public on Twitch here, right? Everyone gets my number. You can join the Discord here as well. That's probably a great place. Class-related questions, I love you folks asking in the Discord, because it's just like we're in person. If one person has that question, it's almost guaranteed at least one other person will have that exact same question. So if you ask publicly in the Discord, and I answer publicly, then everyone gets a chance to see that answer, instead of me having to answer 5 different private messages. So class-related questions, definitely great to put in the Discord there. Hey, look at that. Someone must have just followed. It shoots my emote everywhere. I love it. You found twitch.tv/EricChernesky. This is my plan for live lectures if you prefer synchronous classes. I know not everyone's into the synchronous option here, but that's my plan. That's definitely how I learn best, is via synchronous sessions where I can ask questions live. So that's my plan, is to lecture synchronously. And if you are not into that, or you can't make it some night, or whatever happens, life gets in the way, I'll be archiving all of the VODs on YouTube. Here's my YouTube channel here. Thanks to last semester, I finally hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, so I could get a URL with my name in it instead of their nonsense one. So whichever you prefer. I don't take attendance. I don't require attendance. It's up to you to be responsible for your learning. You're adults in a college class, so I'm not going to be babysitting. Sorry about that. My allergies are going nuts, so I am swallowing all sorts of decongestants and allergy pills and things, and it dries me out. So I'll be drinking constantly. All right. Yeah, so you can find class there. Twitch also has the VODs, but they only last for like 45 days. And a while ago, someone yelled at me that like the second week of class wasn't available when they were taking their final exam, and they wanted to go back and look at something. So I put them all out on YouTube, so that's fine. Oh, hey, yeah, we're working on it. There's a really cool group called the Knowledge Fellowship. If anyone wants to do exclamation TKF for the Knowledge Fellowship, they're in chat. We'll put a link up. There's a bunch of people who just like sharing knowledge on Twitch, which is super cool. There are a couple people who teach their classes on Twitch or have office hours on Twitch, a couple profs about it. Yeah, no, there's a chem streamer, Prof. Melko was one of the original ones. He and I were actually highlighted in an article in the Amazing Chronicle of Higher Education. Not that anyone actually reads that nonsense, but some folks in academia do, about how we use Twitch in our learning, and that was before the pandemic. So before COVID forced everything remote, I had been using Twitch to live stream my classes because someone had said, I talk really fast, and wouldn't it be nice if they could record it? And I've been hanging out watching stuff on Twitch for many years now, way back when Day9 TV was first around, and he started streaming StarCraft matches and things. And I was familiar with Twitch just as a viewer. I was like, oh, hey, I could probably make that work. So I started live streaming my lectures, also in case like there was inclement weather. Teaching winter classes in Michigan at commuter schools can definitely have trouble with traffic. So thought it'd be cool for anyone to join live that way. And then also it automatically records it for anybody who wants to watch the recording another time. So just kind of two birds with one stone there. So I like it. I think it's a fun platform. Watching blank screens on Zoom is terrible anyway. Most students don't want to turn their cameras on, and I'm not going to ask you to if you don't want to. And really, it's not a discussion-based class. Many of our CIS classes are much more lecture style. Here's some content, here's some material, let's go practice it, let's try it, let's see what we can learn about it here. They were more lab style, where I would spend probably 2 to 3 hours or so, hopefully never 3, that gets really dull, going over examples and showing you things and talking about the content from the text. And then we would have time to practice it and work on our assignments and that sort of thing, where I could walk around the class. It just doesn't work well. Some of my colleagues try breakout rooms, and they'll bounce around the breakout rooms and ask people to screen share and whatnot, and that just sounds awkward to me. So after I'm done lecturing, if you want to do some screen sharing things, let me know. Discord's really good at that, or I can fire up Zoom. I do have a Zoom link. I've used it before. Happy to fire that up if that's your preference, but Discord works relatively well for that as well. Okay, so that's about class. The catalog description, hopefully you read that already. 1500 is a prereq. We definitely recommend 2151 as well. You can take them simultaneously. You don't have to even take them at the same time, but this ideally is your third Java class in the program, not your second one. Yeah, it's public, so I tell everybody no one has to use their name, which is also kind of a benefit. I've had some feedback that people enjoyed being able to use a handle in chat asking questions because they felt more free to answer questions, because honestly, I don't know who you are. Like King said, I just know handles here, and then the actual official stuff all happens here in D2L where your name is attached, and the two aren't connected. So I will do my best to answer questions that are on topic. You can do exclam class, I think, and I've got a little disclaimer there in Twitch. Your second class, Married to Pizza? Yeah. All right, so some goals. We have critical thinking goals and quantitative literacy goals and information literacy goals. and then some common course outcomes. So some specific goals around, I've got my schedule there, Mizuki, on Twitch. It's all computer science classes, programming classes, Java 1, Java 2, data structures, JSP, PHP this semester, and it varies semester to semester. So what we'll look at is describing the general structure and behavior of stacks, queues, priority queues, linked lists, binary search trees, hash tables, and heaps. These are ways of storing data in memory. They're fantastic. So data structures is an awesome class. It's called Object-Oriented Programming Java. It's 2151 pays. King, you know my schedule better than I do. Fifth, sorry to hear you ended up dropping out, but that's definitely a good reason to. Definitely a good reason. I got 6 kids. They're a lot of fun. They definitely keep you busy. We'll look at how we can identify the most appropriate type of data structure to use for a given set of requirements. We study these data structures because they perform differently. And depending on what problem we're trying to solve, we need to pick the right tool. So they're all different tools we're going to keep in our toolkit that we can use at different times to solve problems. Okay? Excuse me. Number 3, we'll talk about performance issues related to each data structure, as identified in Objective 1 for basic operations such as insert, delete, and find. So common operations, adding something to your data structure, taking it out of your data structure, finding it in your data structure. We'll look at the performance of each of those, and that also helps us with identifying the most appropriate data structure. All right, we'll learn how to implement at least 3 data structures using the Java collections framework. Here's the cool thing. Really smart people wrote this, the Java collections framework, and they're already done. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to implement them. We do learn how to reinvent the wheel or duplicate the wheel, because learning how to do it is going to help you understand its performance better and understand why these things work, is what we're going to do. Yeah, I'll be posting the assignment tonight. Yep. So I'll talk about all the assignments and things as they come. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Yep. We'll look at overriding toString and equals methods of Java collections classes and how to implement the comparable interface. The comparable interface is fantastic. Lets us compare 2 things. Are you bigger than, less than, or equal to? We'll demonstrate the ability to create structures within structures using the Java collections framework, like a tree map of linked lists or an array list of array lists. This array list of array lists is fantastic. It's like a 2D list, right? You have rows and you have columns. We'll look at these. They're a lot of fun. We'll identify 3 classic O of n log n. This is big O notation. We'll talk about that. Don't worry when we get to the chapter. N log n and 3 big O of n squared sorting algorithms and describe their general properties. And we'll illustrate the execution sequence of recursive methods. So recursion is huge. We'll spend some more time working on that as well. Our textbook, I forgot to grab. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Data Structures and Abstractions with Java by Frank Carano and Timothy Henry. That ought to be the one. 4th edition. Look at that. Sweet, 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 sweet book. This is a little bit expensive. I apologize. But you're welcome to get a used version. You're welcome to get an e-version, rent the version, whatever you want to do is perfectly fine. You got the ISBN number here. You should be fine. Okay? So don't feel like you have to buy the new one. We're not using any of the amazing things that we need these codes for in the middle there. Okay? No, it is not a Gaddis book, or not a Pearson book. So this is, sorry, it is a Pearson book, but it's not a Gaddis book. He seems to like those fruit versions. Okay? This is 4th edition. I think that's wrong. Give me a second here. I just looked. I think I might have typoed that. I'm sorry. Where's that ISBN? Here it is. 978-013. Oh. 13. This is the 5th edition. I said the 4th. Okay, I'm confused now. Let's take a peek here. I thought I copied this off of the website here. Sorry, folks. Let's see if we can find this here. Double check. 2353. That one's me. 4th edition. Huh. Okay. Yeah, 4th. Sure. Hopefully it's cheaper then. Interesting. Alright, I don't know why the one I have is the 5th that Pearson sent me. When is this one from? Oh, this is the 2019 edition versus the 2015 edition. Okay, so all that new stuff. Yeah, Pearson, you asked the Pearson rep for the book and they send it to you? They probably didn't understand why we were still using a book from 2015 when they brought a new one. No, 4th edition is fine. I apologize. You'll be fine with the 4th edition. Them coming out with new editions all the time is just a reason to take more money from people. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So 4th edition is fine. Apologize for that. That is what the syllabus says. You're all good. Okay? Nothing wrong there. Yes, they are expensive. It is a racket, unfortunately. So the college textbook business is crazy. All right, supplemental materials. Other tools we're going to use in class. We're going to need an account on github.com. Okay, you will need the GitHub desktop client. We're going to use NetBeans for this class because that's what we use everywhere else. And Dr. Ball told me to use it, and he's a lot smarter than I am, so I went with it. If you have a different IDE that you prefer, you're welcome to use it. It's not a problem, but I will do everything in NetBeans. The textbook, like the new editions, they add a little bit of like what's new here. Like let's see if they tell me what's new. Sometimes they tell you the only thing that's changed in the book. What's new? They've added coverage of recursion in a new chapter. They've continued our introduction to safe and secure programming practices. They've added design decisions, notes, security notes, programming tips throughout the book. They've added new exercises and programming projects with an emphasis in the area of gaming, e-commerce, and finance to most chapters. They adjusted the order of some topics. They refined their terminology, presentation, and word choices to ease understanding. They revised the illustrations to make them easier to read and understand. They renamed self-test questions as study questions and moved their answers to online. We encourage our students to discuss their own answers with a study partner or group. Included the appendix about Java classes within the book instead of leaving it online. They reduced the amount of Java code given in the book, and they ensured that all Java code is Java 9 compliant. That's what you get, folks, for a new edition of the book. Congratulations. Professor Perp, thank you so much for donating to the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan Dearborn for the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Stormstacks, I'm not supposed to encourage that, so you should take that to direct messages in Discord. But yeah, you do what you got to do. Yeah, no, I had someone last semester work with VS Code and it worked well. It's okay, so it filters it out in chat automatically. There's like a links automod filter so people don't spam me with things. Yeah, you can use any IDE you're familiar with, but I'll be doing everything in NetBeans. My examples will be in NetBeans, that sort of thing. So yeah, just ignore that link. So the Discord link, you can use the web version, get the full client. I have it on my phone, so if you ping me in Discord, it will pop up on my phone as well. You have a web browser for Twitch, I'm assuming. NetBeans, if you haven't installed it before, I can definitely get with you and help you install it. It's relatively straightforward. It needs a little bit of tweaking if you use the OpenJDK, which we use. You'll need it this week to turn in the very first project, Harishi. Harishi. Likes cars? Yeah. Tell me if I'm saying your handle wrong. I'll do my best to get that right. And I should mention, thanks to Professor Perp donating there, Twitch eventually will send me checks for streaming on Twitch on their platform. I'm not keeping any of the money. I'm donating it all towards the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan, Dearborn College of Engineering and Computer Science, where I'm a student as well. And I teach over there too, which is fun. I'm a lecturer there. So I have a record of my donations to them. I'll have a record of all of the money Twitch ever sends me, and I'd be happy to show you anytime. Yeah, I need to get at least $100 before they'll send me anything, and I haven't even hit that. But that's the goal. So I don't feel like I'm trying to double dip and make a bunch of money off Twitch, because I'm not. Okay, but that's nice. I appreciate it. So some people get upset that they have to see ads, but I still think making people watch 30 seconds of ads or something is a good trade-off for not having to have Zoom. Just don't show your payout area on Twitch. Yeah, I forget. There's something it shows. It can get you banned. Really? Oh, I've showed that before. Okay. I mean, they've never sent me anything, so whatever. I guess I didn't read the affiliate agreement close enough. No one ever reads those very closely. So we use NetBeans. We use the OpenJDK, OpenJFX, and Scene Builder for our graphical user interface applications because they're awesome, and it is not the Oracle version that they are now trying to charge people licenses for Java. That part just kind of offends me because Java was always meant to be an open language, and now all of a sudden they wanted to start charging licenses. We can use it, obviously, for academic use, no problem, but if we can avoid using their official version, I'm going to do it. So it takes like one extra step occasionally to use the OpenJDK, OpenJFX thing, and life is good. So we'll get into all of that. So you can install all of the software locally if you want, or you can use the virtual desktop that we have set up that has everything pre-installed on it for you. The only problem with the virtual desktop is it's a little slow. That's all. Sorry, what is going on with my phone here? Okay. Cool. Yeah, Code, you're right. You know, I've never showed my payout. Well, they haven't paid me anything, so I haven't actually shown anything. I just showed the page where it said they didn't pay me. So maybe that's fine. All right, so we can go through all those tools, install them later. I'm working on a YouTube video that's just installing the tools, so I don't have to demo it for every single class. So NetBeans is there, Married to Pizza, but there's not a shortcut for it. So if you log into the Horizon VMware client, it's there. But you have to find it for some reason. I don't... It's a little funny. Oh, it's the college-wide CIS as well. Make sure you use the college-wide CIS desktop. The general student desktop won't have all of our CIS software installed. King! Oh my goodness, my friend. Thank you so much. That would be why then, yeah. Sorry, Married to Pizza. Yeah, definitely use the CIS one. And then don't use the NetBeans 8 here. Go and find NetBeans in the Start menu, NetBeans, this one here, the desktop app. And the version's a little bit old. It's not the latest and greatest. Yeah, it's a virtual machine in the cloud that we have running here at the college. Oh, version 11. Okay, so it's version 11, so it's a little behind. These things are apparently hard to update, I guess. I don't know. I don't know too much about it. All right, so anyway, we've got that if you need the virtual machine as well. Does it run CSGO? Unlikely. Unlikely. All right, assessment policies and procedures. This policy on plagiarism and cheating is specific to my course here. We have got the college-wide policy down below, and so my specific policy is any student engaging in academic dishonesty will receive a failing grade for the class or the course and be reported to the dean's office. If you're unsure if something is qualifies as academic dishonesty, please ask. Okay? That used to be the entire policy. Dad jokes. Oh my goodness, you got it, Code. Using up all the points. Woo! All the dad jokes. Okay. You got it. We just got to go rapid fire dad jokes. Hang on, let me find them here. Let me find them. All right. Let's see. Come on. What do you call an army of babies? Infantry. What kind of money do astronauts use? Starbucks. I had to do a report on circles the other day, and I didn't know what to write, so I had to ask around. Someone had advertised they were selling a python, and my kids thought it would be really cool to get a snake. And so I called and I said, okay, you know, I just wondering how many feet it, and the person on the phone replied, they said, none, it's a snake. Let's see. I think I owe you one more, right? Yeah, I've got I found this really cool pen that can write underwater. It can also write other words too. All right. So the policy on plagiarism and cheating. Here again, I do take this very seriously. People who cheat should not get degrees, and it's in your best interest as well to make sure people who cheat don't get degrees, because if they go get a job in the industry and they suck at it because they cheated their way through school and they don't know what they're doing, no one's going to want to hire people who graduate from that school because they think we do a terrible job. So just don't cheat, right? Just do your work. And I had to add this now because apparently this was unclear to people that cheating, right? Okay, let's go back to college policy. You shall not engage in behavior in which, in the judgment of the instructor, that's me by the way, may be construed as academic dishonesty. This may include, but not limited to, plagiarism, presenting another individual's ideas, data, words, images, or products without giving credit to the originator, or other forms of academic dishonesty, such as the acquisition, without permission of tests or other academic material, or distribution of the same. This includes students who aid and abet, as well as those who attempt such behavior. So, if you go post my assignment on chegg.com, you're distributing the material here, you're cheating. And I don't know why that wasn't clear to somebody thinking they could go post on chegg.com, which is a terrible website, and I hope they get sued and go out of business because they let people pay to cheat, and it's ridiculous. And they say they'll work with instructors, and they're just jerks, and I hate them. So, under no circumstances may chegg.com be used. Do not post questions there. Do not cite answers posted there. Any use of chegg.com or similar websites will be considered academic misconduct. Like Course Hero, I forget, there's a couple other ones where people post assignments and crap like that. Don't do it, okay? Don't. Yeah, Stack Overflow is actually like a legitimate place, but don't post the questions there either, right? Don't say, hey, someone do my assignment for me. That's not how this works, okay? I've actually caught people posting their entire assignment on Stack Overflow, and I failed them. It's depressing, right? It takes me all sorts of paperwork. I have to fill out this form. I have to document things. I have to send it over to my dean. It pisses me off when I have to fail people for cheating. Okay, it just gets me upset, and it's not worth it. And then you fail, and the college has a 3-strike policy. If you are caught 3 times engaging in academic dishonesty, you will be expelled and no longer welcome as a student here. So just don't do it. I had to fail 3 people last semester, and it pissed me off. Just ask my wife how much it upset me, and I would just talk about it and be upset about it, staying up late at night, wondering why people cheat. So, the new policy, nothing at all may come from chegg.com. Don't cite sources from there, right? It's an immediate failure in the entire course. Yes. Yeah, King. 3 times and you're done. Okay, so if you're not sure, just ask. Right? I know there are things out there online. I know there are solutions to some problems. I'm going to try and give you projects that don't have solutions that you can find online. But if you find like, oh, here's a way that I can reverse something, or here's a way that I can sort something, this little tweak of an algorithm, sure. Cite your source. Drop a comment in and say, here's where I got it from online. We're cool. That is citing your source. That is no longer plagiarism. Because plagiarism is presenting someone else's ideas without giving credit to the originator. VM Horizonware Client is the name of the tool that you install. It's the software you install locally. You connect to whatever apps.oaklandcc.edu or something like that. There's a link. If you click this one, it'll walk you through it for Mac or for Windows. Yeah, and all of this software should work on Mac. Although if you're using a Mac, I have no clue how to use them. I just try not to use Apple's hardware if I can help it. Just their ecosystem irritates me. Okay, the code of conduct, this is copy-paste, so don't worry about it. Keep the classrooms quiet. Sure. The grading policy, this is what most people care about. Apple, their stuff is fine. Apple's okay, but they have a closed ecosystem. Right? That they only allow their stuff and their approved stuff in. Versus Windows being open. So, yes, anytime you use Stack Overflow to help with a problem, you have to cite it. If it's not your original work, you need to cite your source. So we'll have 4 projects, I believe. I'll double check in a second here. Throughout the semester, that will account for 35% of your grade. These are weighted categories. That means the points for projects only matter in the projects category. Your total score in projects will be 35% of your overall score in the class. We'll have quizzes over every chapter we talk about. That makes up for 10% of your score. We'll have one exam, that is our midterm. It's only 15%. It's not a very high stakes exam. This one will be time bound. So you'll have 4 hours from start to finish on it, unless you have some accommodations through the Access office. The quizzes are not time bound. So you can open them, you can close them, you can come back to them anytime you want up until the due date, where the midterm will have a fixed time limit, just to make it fair for everybody, that if you have more time in the week, you're not getting more time on the midterm. And we'll get talk more about the midterm when we get closer. Don't stress too much about it. I'll give you a practice one and show you what the questions will look like. And then we'll have a final project that will take the last month of class, is 40% of the midterm. No, I don't proctor exams. I don't want to have to sit there and watch you. That's a big waste. It's open book, open notes, open internet anyway, but not open neighbor, right? You are going to work individually, but you're going to use your resources. I get paid a lot of money as a software engineer, and no one has ever asked me to memorize anything, because that's stupid. Right? Why would someone ask me to solve a problem and not use my resources? So I will expect the same from you. So the book will be your primary source. We'll get to the projects in a second. I believe it's 4 individual projects and a final project. If your neighbor is a book, you've got some weird neighbors. So that'll make up your grade for the class. If you're looking for a particular letter grade, here's the scale, you know what you need to get. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of drainage again here. The N grade, if you don't turn in the first homework and quiz, essentially, you'll probably get an N grade. I got 3 weeks to turn these in. No, not 1 project per chapter. No, we go through chapters way faster than that. Late work is not accepted without prior written approval. I go over the solution to projects in class or in lecture. So when the project's due at 6 p.m. on a day, you need to have it in then, because I'm going over the solution at 6:05. Okay? Yeah, for sure. Nobody can remember everything. So what we learn is what kind of tools we have to solve problems, and approaches for solving problems, and different ways for trying to solve those problems. And then you go look up that particular tool and how to use it later. Right? No one has it all in their head. For FERPA, privacy rights, I won't give you any information over anything. I'm just going to tell you to go look in D2L. If you want to know what your grade is, I'll say go look in D2L. I won't tell anybody else about your stuff. With the Americans with Disabilities Act, if you have a disability, contact the Access office, work with them. They'll send me paperwork, and I can work with you. Most of the time, I get folks who need extra time on exams due to certain things, which is perfectly fine, but you need to work with the Access office to have them send me the paperwork, and then you also need to ask me. Right? Just because Access tells me you're allowed to use it doesn't mean it's automatic. Some people just have it in place in case they need to use it later. But when it comes to the midterm, you need to let me know if you'd like to use that extra time if you've qualified for it. Okay? The Academic Support Center is fantastic. One of the coolest things about OCC, they offer free tutoring. We've got an amazing tutor who you can book individual appointments with. And take a look at the Orchard Ridge online tutoring schedule. And these are completely free, or paid for through your tuition dollars and tax dollars, essentially. So no additional fee, I should say. Mr. Tim is our tutor. You can book appointments Tuesdays and Thursdays between 2 and 5 for any CIS class. The guy is phenomenal. Really nice guy, real smart, got lots of experience in the industry. Actually got his master's in mathematics. Super nice guy. And he teaches math, tutors for math as well. And physics. Super smart guy. And that's what we have the Americans with Disabilities Act for, King, if you qualify for things. So take a look at the tutoring. That is definitely helpful as well, and it's free. Just don't no-show, or they'll take away your tutoring privileges. We don't have a supplemental instructor for this class, but they also do have study skill seminars. Given this is not your first semester, I'm assuming because you're in an advanced 200 level class, or 2000 level, hopefully you've had a chance to go to those before, but those definitely help you for study skills. For anything D2L related technical issues, call the D2L help desk. That's like the website itself is not working. Content wise, that's me. I put all the content out there. Excuse me. Sorry to hear, King. Accessibility standards, text standards, Microsoft accessibility. This is all copy paste from the template. Technology appropriate use regulations. When you use college resources, don't be stupid. Don't do anything illegal, anything wrong, or you will lose access to college resources. and it's really difficult to complete classes if you're not allowed to log into D2L. I can pretty much guarantee that would be very difficult. Netiquette, public safety, again, not all that applicable because we're not in person, although they're happy to help if you have any online harassment issues with students. They're the place to go there. All right, expectations of me. My goal, which I totally screwed up on last semester because life was hard, given the pandemic and everything, is to have everything graded within a week of when it's due. So not when you turn it in, but of the due date. That's the goal I'm going to try and stick with this semester. Hopefully, as the kids are finishing up remote schooling, distance learning, that sort of stuff, this will be easier and it won't take as much time for me. So I'll have more time to promptly attend to things. And then I will respond to your emails within 24 hours, most of the time way faster than that. If you haven't heard from me within 24 hours, please feel free to ping me again, send me a message again, because I might have lost it in the pile. Okay, everything comes to my phone, so I do see it, but my son watches YouTube on my phone every now and then, and he like swipes away my notifications. So please feel free to bother me again if I haven't responded. All right, and then the tentative schedule for the class. Yeah, there we go. We have Project 0 tonight. This is just making sure all of our tools work, showing you how GitHub works, that sort of thing, a little intro project. Excuse me, and we'll talk about the appendices tonight, a little review of Java. Then next week we'll get into the abstract data type bag and generics and exceptions, chapters 1 through 3, and we'll talk about the interludes 1 and 2. Right, we'll have our first real project. I say Project 0 is not a real project. It's just, can you use GitHub to push code? I'll show you how to do that in just a little while. Don't worry too much. But what we're going to do is we're going to use Git and GitHub as our source control tool so that you don't have to attach code into D2L. I don't want you to have to upload files. I don't want to have to download files. I want to use a tool that's designed for code collaboration, like GitHub.com and the Git source control tool, because that's what it's made for, and it's fantastic. All right, then we'll move through, we didn't get through all of chapter 3. Next week, we'll finish up chapters 3 and 4. Then this week, oh, code, I'm jealous. I had some pizza earlier. Chinese food sounds good. Then we'll get into stacks, inheritance, and polymorphism in chapters 5 and 6 and interlude 7. We'll have our second project, recursions, more generics again, exceptions, chapter 7, interludes 3 and 4. Sorting, queue, dequeue, priority queue, list ADT, more on the list, iterators, ADT sorted list, chapters and interludes. We'll have our midterm actually week 10. So the midterm's a little bit late in for an example. Yeah, we'll get a repository. Yep, we'll go over how to use GitHub, Mizuki, for sure. Yeah, so I recommend people take this after 2151, but you can take it at the same time. It's just going to be a lot of work because you've only had, I'm assuming, the one semester of Java programming, 1500 before that. So the more familiar you are with it, the easier it's going to be. And some of the topics we get into, like polymorphism and inheritance, hopefully you've had 2151 to really drive home how that all works before we throw it at you and it looks really crazy, because we do some really cool stuff with it in data structures. Yep. Now, you'll be okay. It's just going to be a lot of work. All right, and then after the midterm, we'll do searching, dictionaries, and hashing, more hashing, trees, binary search trees, heaps, balanced search trees, graphs, and then week 14 is totally set aside for final project work time. I usually assign the final projects as pairs. Hey, Snake, how you doing? Hey, Yuki. Yeah, that's right. You got 3 classes. My goodness. Yep, that is going to be quite the summer, having 3 of my classes. Hey, okay, you're in both? Yeah, we can make it work. But so we'll set aside time for the final project here, and then the only required meeting here will be this last week here. We're going to present our final projects over Zoom. Snake, my goodness, my friend, you're still subbed. You are so generous, donating to the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan Dearborn College of Engineering and Computer Science. I've got to see how fast I can say that. It's a goal now. Ooh, Calc 2 is a lot of fun. Linear algebra is good, for sure. Very cool. So this will be a synchronous meeting over Zoom, so we can all hop on and we can take turns sharing our projects. I would like you folks to pair up for this, although I'm not going to require it given we're doing remote learning. Usually if we're meeting in person, I would require everyone to work in a pair. It's actually a really good experience to program with another person. Yeah, I have to see. It like just happened automatically, code. In in stream elements. I don't actually know where that's all set. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, we'll present together over Zoom, and we can all take turns sharing. Ideally, you work in pairs. Definitely recommend it because it's a good experience working with somebody. You'll end up with a higher quality product and software when you're done because you've had a chance to talk through it with another person, getting more points of views. It's really cool. Should be a lot of fun. All right, and that is all of your summer out the window now, up through August 18th. Ooh, Stats is really good, Mizuki. Stats is a fantastic class. Super useful. Yeah, Yuki, if you're working in a group, you definitely need to plan ahead. Time spent designing your solution is never wasted. Right? You want to understand what you're trying to solve, how things are going to work together before you actually go and write some code, because then you're in for headaches, and it will be rough. Yeah, Stats is probably the most practical math class and applicable math class you'll have in the software engineering field. Stats are awesome. All right, I'm out of my beverage. I'm gonna have to go get another one in a minute. Take some more allergy medicine. Whew. But that is the syllabus. We covered 9 pages. You folks are awesome. Not too bad there, right? Oh, sorry you forgot everything you learned in stats code. You don't use it everywhere, but I think of all of them. Not sure. Yep. Excuse me. All right, any questions about the syllabus? Uh-oh, I'm dropping frames. Okay, maybe it's stable. Comcast was great last night up until right about 8 p.m. or so, and it just started dropping on me. But I think we're going to be stable. Late assignments are not taken, King. Late work is not taken. Okay, plan ahead, get the quizzes in, get the projects in on time. Definitely, Moose. It definitely applies to you. You cannot turn stuff in late. I won't take it. All right. So there is a syllabus quiz for you folks to take this week. Please go ahead and take that for me. Give me a second. Let me grab this. Make sure I grab the right window. There we go. All right. Put you back here. So you can take this many times as you need to. The goal is you have read some stuff for the syllabus and you understand how this works. All right, so ways you can contact me. Tools that you need, you can install them locally, use a virtual desktop or both. You can watch them synchronously, asynchronously, or either way. Late work will receive no credit without prior written approval, true or false. The Academic Support Center offers free tutoring where you can reserve individual appointments with the tutor who will write your assignment for you, true or false. During my office hours, please fill this out. You can reserve a meeting with me, expect a quick response, chat about general tech or anything interesting, or all of the above. Then 2 long answer questions. So typically with a college course, it requires 2 hours of work spent outside the classroom for every hour in class. So as a 4-credit class, you should expect to spend 8 hours a week reading the text, working on projects, doing assignments, taking quizzes, that sort of thing, outside of the lecture time. So what I'd like you to do is tell me what day and time you plan to set aside for the course, including whether or not you're watching synchronously or asynchronously. So are we doing Wednesday nights 6 to 9 p.m. or so, plus lab practice time after that till 10 or something? And then what other 8 hours are you going to spend throughout the week on this class? And then number 8 is you acknowledging that you have read and understand the course policy on plagiarism and cheating. And I quote it right here. If you engage in academic dishonesty, you fail the course and get reported to the dean. If I find it, I have to report it to the dean's office. I have no choice in the matter, and you fail the class immediately. There is no, oops, I forgot. Can you guys have a 0 on the assignment? Right? This is the policy. I will stick to the policy and enforce it. That's what it is. So as soon as you engage in academic dishonesty, it's out of my hands. I have to do a crap ton of paperwork, which pisses me off, and then you get to take it up with the dean. And by the way, of all the people I've failed, which I was actually trying to count just because people never seem to take this seriously, and they still cheat I fail people every semester, and it pisses me off. Like, I've not had a single semester that I've taught where I've not failed somebody. So I'm up to 27 people, I want to say, that I failed so far since I've been teaching in 2012, on and off. And I've not yet ever had the dean's office say, oh no, Eric, you were wrong. They don't fail the class. Okay, I've never been wrong. Okay, so just don't. If you're not sure, ask. Okay? Someone claimed last semester that, oh, they were just so busy trying to get the project submitted by 6 p.m. they forgot to cite their source. That's a bunch of bull crap, right? All you have to do, you take a URL, you copy, you hit paste. You've now cited your source. That takes 2 seconds. Okay? So don't play that game, right? Just do the work, please, and we'll all be good. All right, cool. So that's the syllabus quiz. You can take it as many times as you need. I'll grade it as I go. Looks like 7 of you have taken it already. My goodness, you folks are amazing. Out of how many people are in the class? I should look that up again and see. Oh man, I shouldn't have the screen manager open. Really throwing shade at them, man. Yeah. Cheaters piss me off. They really do. I got my degree from OCC, and if cheaters get degrees from OCC and they suck in the workforce, then no one's going to want to hire people who graduate from OCC. It just devalues the degree for everybody. So it's sort of a personal mission of mine to expel as many cheaters as I can. I have no tolerance for it at all. You can look me up on LinkedIn there, Mizuki, if you Google me. It's got all my credentials there. All right. Where was I going there? Back to the syllabus. That's right. Yeah, I've not gotten to the point. I know Dr. Baugh has joked. I wasn't sure if it's actually serious or not, that he tells people if you turn someone in for cheating, like if someone's like, hey, can I have your project? If you turn them in, he would give them full credit on the assignment. I don't know if he actually does it or not, and I still have a hard time giving people credit for things like if they haven't actually done the work. But I'm quite tempted to go that road. If you turn in someone for cheating and trying to steal your work, then you should get some sort of reward. But I mean, the bonus points here in Twitch aren't worth anything, so maybe you just get a million bonus points that aren't worth anything. All right, I've got almost 7 o'clock on the clock. Before we jump into the appendices tonight and talk about Project Zero and Git and GitHub, why don't we take a little break? I gotta go get some more fluids, take some more medicine. We'll come back in about 10 minutes or so, and that's typically the goal. I'll talk for around an hour, we'll take a break. I'll talk for around another hour, we'll take a break, and then we'll finish up any last things. I'm hoping to be done by 8:30-ish every night. Maybe we'll go till 9, depending on the topics. We'll see how that goes. But definitely don't want to be talking for more than 3 hours at you, because I'll get bored myself. Excuse me. Oh. All right, so I'll put some more music on. Sorry, we do get Spotify ads every now and then because I'm too cheap to pay for Spotify Premium. So, how's that volume? If I turn that on, is that too loud or is it okay? All right, so why don't we come back at 7:05 and we'll pick it up from there. Thanks, folks.
This is Ice-T and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
This is a cold call.
We're on a mission to get America to switch to cold water washing with Tide.
it saves you energy.
And that saves you up to $150 a year on your energy bill.
Plus, Tide cleans better in cold than the bargain brand in hot. So what are you waiting for?
Turn to cold because Stone Cold said so.
Turn to cold with Tide.
Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines. Performance based on Tide Power Pods versus leading baking soda packs.
The journey to a COVID-19 vaccine began decades ago with research on earlier coronaviruses. Scientists built on that with months more of research and development, worldwide cooperation, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of diverse volunteers. Finally, they arrived at a safe, effective vaccine. The next step on the journey is yours. Discover the facts at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed tea with just the right kick of alcohol? Well, we started already. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
If I should stay or be alone, won't you make up your mind? 'Cause I'm getting tired of overthinking every move you make. And I can help you decide who you're loving now, and how I'm not quite there somehow. My intuition says to give you up, but my heart can't easily let you go. I try to tell myself this isn't love, and I hate that I never really know if I should stay or be alone. I'm just waiting for the fight, but you won't even try to survive. You would rather keep it all inside, and I can help you decide who you're loving now, and how I'm not quite there somehow. My intuition says to give you up, but my heart can't easily let you go. I try to tell myself this isn't love, but I hate that I never really know if I should stay or be alone. If I should stay or be alone. If I should stay or be alone. I don't wanna be alone tonight. I'm just hoping that you'll be just right. And I hate that I never really know if I should stay or be alone. If I should stay or be alone. I don't wanna be alone tonight. I'm just hoping that you'll be just right. And I hate that I never really know if I should stay or be alone. Freedom, I never had the chance to run. Leave behind the said and done. Figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of some. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow doubt, and I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down, and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now, and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me. Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making emotion paintable and so tell me, is this what you made me? I'm the stone that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will never do you think you
Hey, folks. All right. Hopefully I had a chance to get a drink. Take a little break. This is the NCS No Copyright Sound gaming music playlist. They are DMCA free. They're amazing. I would download them, but my download link broke or something like that. I don't know. So we do Spotify and we get Spotify ads because it's funny. I think the best ad was for a competing college in the area. I do have cats. Yeah, the kittens sometimes like to come in here and hang out. My old man cat, he'll sit in my lap a lot, but I think I usually try and keep my office closed just to keep down on the noise of all the kids while I'm teaching. Oh, this is good. So I do miss seeing everybody in person, because usually I would bring my coffee pot and share my coffee. So come fall, if things, if the cards are aligned, stars are aligned, we might have in-person classes again. I think the rumor is that depending on what the Michigan Health Department says as to distancing, we can do 3-foot distancing, but we can't do 6-foot distancing and still run in-person classes. We just don't have the physical space for that. So hopefully come fall, I'll be back in my office, I'll have coffee. Happy to share with you vaccinated folks. Just don't get me sick. I had COVID in November and it was terrible. I was in bed for a week, could barely get up. I had chest pains through the end of December, and I'm still getting random chest pains now months later. It's awful. Okay, I'm not really sure. It's still in negotiations, trying to figure out what's going to happen exactly when. We have like official online classes, but then we've sort of like got thrown into this online learning with the pandemic, where most of our online classes are online asynchronous only, where there's like video recordings and other content and things you do, but synchronous was never a thing. But we recently went through and changed so that we can offer classes listed as online synchronous, where they're designed to be synchronous sessions online or a mix of the two sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, for some people it's definitely great. I personally had to drop my class, although I had other family issues as well. I could not do remote learning. And I teach computer science sort of stuff, but if I can't be there in person, sitting at the desk, focusing, when I'm at my computer, like I see something go by and I'm off chasing things and watching Facebook again all of a sudden and not paying attention. So I'm terrible at it. I just don't have the discipline for it myself, which is, it's what it is. So I know my learning style. So hopefully I'll get back Probably not this fall. I don't know. We'll see when I can get back to classes. But looking forward to that. All right, so we have a couple things to tackle tonight. We have our review of Java, the Appendices, A through E. Let me grab my amazing book here. And I did not actually download those for you yet. I have to go download all of the PowerPoint examples or PowerPoint presentations. I don't use PowerPoint because I think it's terrible. I don't like when people read to me. Is sort of my complaint with PowerPoint. So I don't read to you folks either if I can help it. Occasionally just to be funny, but I'll try not to read to you in person. So look at some appendices here, A through E. See what we can do in terms of review before we get into the actual chapter material here. Okay? So let me, I can't go grab those right now, can I? That's okay. So let's do a little review. So let me open up NetBeans. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you Git a little bit here. This is GitHub. I'm going to make a repository. I've got a process that will make them for you. I'll show you in a little bit here, which is nice. So let me pull this up here. All right, so CIS 2353 Summer 2021. It's a public repository, so all of the code examples that I go through in class will be available here. And so I don't have to attach anything to Desire to Learn, because putting code in D2L is terrible. Desire to Learn is not meant for code. I'm going to add a README file. I'm going to add a Git Ignore file. The Git Ignore file tells Git not to add certain files to source control. And we call it source control because it's made for your source code. Anything that can be generated from your source code, like the Java class files, right? That's our Java bytecode that gets interpreted by the Java virtual machine, can be generated. We don't need to check that into source control. I'm also going to put a license out there. I'll tell people they can use it anything they want. An MIT license, just a attribute back to me, and that we're all good. So a repository is just a folder. It's a fancy folder that Git watches for changes. So what you do, after you've downloaded the GitHub desktop client, that's desktop.github.com, there's a link in the syllabus, you can use this link, the big green button, for Open with GitHub Desktop. And when you go to open a repository, it'll say, oh hey, do you want to clone it? So Git is a distributed source control tool. So each repository has the entire history of everything, which for our purposes is fine. It's not a big deal. There's just discussions about that in the industry, whether or not that's good or bad, and ways of managing repositories. But for our purposes, don't worry about it. It's just a folder. We're going to put all of our code inside of it when we do our projects. The reason is that GitHub is a hosting provider of the Git source control tool. So they make money selling this service to companies and organizations for people to host their code. They give it away for free for people in education and for open source projects and for small projects as well. You can have free private repositories. So this is a public repository. Anyone can get here whether or not you're logged in or not. For class, you're going to use private repositories that you have access to and I have access to and no one else has access to. Because that way I can see your code and no one else can. And then no one will be able to copy off of you. Okay? So now that I have cloned it here, there are two amazing buttons. So I'm in my repository. You can find all your repositories here. You got a whole list of them. You probably won't have very many. We'll do one per project. But here's 2353 Summer 2021. The repository menu here has View on GitHub and Show in Explorer. Those are your two favorite buttons here. So Show in Explorer just opens up your Explorer to that folder. Remember, a Git repository is just a folder. So I can put a new file in here, like a text file, put test.txt, and if I write some stuff here, hi there, here's a file, some joke here, and I save it, and I come back to my GitHub client, it's going to say, hey, I see a new file. So what Git does is it watches the directory for changes. It watches for new files, it watches for files to be changed, it watches for files to be deleted, and it will track that for you down to the line level. And what you got to do is you do this thing called a commit. A commit is a snapshot, a point in time of what the folder looked like when you committed. So, and you have to give it a summary message here. So this message is required. So I'm going to say created test.txt. They should be meaningful. They don't have to be. There's no hard and fast rule, but typically organizations will have policy around what you should put in commit messages. I don't use the description, but if it's longer than 30 characters or something like that, you have to use the description. You say commit. That takes the snapshot. Now, this point in time, this folder is great. Yeah, Yuki. I do this every class. Now that I've committed, my local repository, my version of the repository, has it. The github.com version does not, so we are out of sync. So to synchronize, you push changes up to the central repository, and you can pull changes from the central repository down. So it's a push and a pull. If we're the only one working on it, we're just always going to push. There's nothing we ever need to pull. When we get to multi-user, then we need to start pulling changes, and it's a different story. We'll get to that later. So I'm going to push my change to github.com. After that's done, I can go to repository, view on GitHub, and this will open the web browser for me back to the GitHub repository. If it doesn't load, you might not be logged in, so check to make sure that you're logged in here. And I can see test.txt. Now, all of these files are links. I can click them, and I can actually see the text contents here. Text contents of the file here. Right? And I can see the current status. So if you can see your code on github.com, I'll be able to see your code on github.com. So if you're having trouble with a project, and you're saying, oh, I'm getting an error here, I'm not really sure what's happening, I'll say, is your code in github.com, and send me a link to it. And you can, this is a URL now. You can take this URL, and you can even say, hey, at line number 2, and the URL now has line 2 in there as a little, I forget what those are called. I really should know. It's not a hyperlink, whatever it is. Client-side reference, right? Everything with the pound is client-side. It never goes to the server. Well, the whole thing's the URL, but this pound sign is like, it's a particular annotation or something. Anchor? Is that it? Cool. So you can give me this URL, and you can chat it to me in Discord or something, or email me, or text it. I don't recommend you text me links. They don't open well on my phone, right? But you can, I guess. Excuse me. And you can send that to me, and I can look at your code and see what's going on. I can also make a clone of your repository and get the entire copy. And what's great here is if you put a project in here, it has all the NetBeans files that I need to open it up in NetBeans. I don't have to do any copy pasting to run your code. I guess I should probably install IntelliJ if other people use IntelliJ. Yeah, Discord is the best. It really is. I'm a fan of Discord. I'm a little sad they didn't get bought by Microsoft. I really thought that was going to go through, and Microsoft had a really cool tool. But maybe it's for the best. They might have ruined it. All right, so anyway, so I've got my folder here. I'm going to grab this path. So this is the breadcrumb trail. I'm going to click in the white space, and it's going to highlight the whole path. I can copy, Control-C, copy. When I come over to NetBeans, let me close this out. I go File, New Project. And Java with Ant tends to be the easiest. I have plans of using Gradle, but it was not cooperating with me. So let's go with Java with Ant, a Java application. You click Next. It'll say, where do you want to put it? So you can either browse, or you can just copy paste that location in. Now it's going to put the project inside my CIS 2353 Summer 2021 repository. And I'll call this one, this is Java Review. So it's going to put a folder inside of that repository with all of the project stuff from NetBeans. It's fantastic. Learning partners in 2151. So I would love for you folks to pair with somebody as a learning partner. That way, two people in the class, you get to know each other, and then you can ask each other questions, help each other out. It just gives you a chance to meet somebody online. It's a little tough to meet people remotely otherwise. Yeah, for the projects, Harishi, yep, I'll be posting all that in a little while for what we have to do for the projects. Don't worry. We'll get to that. That'll probably be the last thing to talk about tonight, is the project. Okay, so I just went and took out all the comments, and I've got my amazing Darkula theme. I'm going to post over here. Let me come back to that. I can post a discussion forum here in D2L, so you can chat in D2L, and you can actually see each other's names and give info and feel pretty secure about it, because Discord and Twitch are public. So sometimes we get random people dropping in, which I actually think is kind of fun. And as long as they have on-topic questions, I think it does add to it. So I'll make a new forum here for learning partners. So learning partners. And typically I'll break this up and have people pair off with people who want to be synchronous and people who want to be asynchronous, because that tends to make better pairs. I'm going to add a topic here for synchronous preferred. And it's not required, but I think you'll have better results. Synchronous preferred. So to post here, if you're planning to take the course mostly synchronously and want to find a learning partner, and if you plan to be mostly asynchronous, post in the asynchronous preferred. So you can post there. Synchronous means you plan to be here every Wednesday night while I'm talking and asking questions live. Asynchronous means you have other things going on, can't make it Wednesday night, or just prefer to work at your own pace, not Wednesday night, and you'll be working throughout the week. Yep. That's essentially the difference. Again, I prefer synchronous because my learning style tends to be, I see something and I want to ask questions about it and not have to send off an email and reference, here's a timestamp and these sorts of things. I think it just makes learning easier, but again, that's my style. Other people prefer asynchronous where they can pause and take breaks and come back to it, or rewind and watch and stop and start, and it is a better flow for them, because it is frustrating if you get lost somewhere in a live session to just have things keep moving. So please shout out, ask questions in chat there. I'm happy to answer them as we go, because if you are questioning something, I'm sure someone else is. So there's no bothering me. You can tag me in chat as well with an @ and it like extra highlights it if I'm not paying attention to your chat. Just let me know. But I'm usually pretty good at seeing chat here. I've got 2 monitors set up actually. So I've got my laptop monitor here. You can't see my hands here, down there. My laptop monitor, and up above is the OBS Studio where I can see chat. So I've got all that showing there, which has been pretty cool. And it seems to work out decently well for me. All right, so there's my test file. So the other cool thing here, right, is I can add some stuff here. So let's say, where does a pirate keep their cookies? And I come back to my GitHub client, and you'll see it tracks it at the line level. So it says, hey, line 3 now has this added in green, and now this is line 4. It used to be line 3, now it's line 4. So it works out really well with code, because code is just text that we can track changes to our code files. In the cookie jar! Yep, definitely. I love pirate jokes too. So you see, I made the new project in this directory, and the GitHub client says, oh, hey, there's a bunch of stuff. A build file, manifest. Just let all those files be. Properties, XMLs, those are all good. It updated Git Ignore. It's saying don't add anything from the private folder. That's good. Don't do it. Just let it go. But you'll see there's a .java file. Here's my Java review.java. Okay? But right now, I haven't saved it, so it has all those comments there. I'm going to come back to NetBeans, hit save. And now I come back, and all that should be gone. So it's just watching the status of the files here. So we'll say here's the Java review started. And we can commit and push. Commit and push. I think I owe Code Conduit one more dad joke. Do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is? What a pirate's favorite letter is? Ah, you'd think so, but it'd be the C. Yep. So to get your project into your GitHub repository, when you make a new project, you just pick that path. When you start a new project, it says, where do you want to put it? Don't put it in the default location, put it in your GitHub repository folder. And then it will show up in GitHub. Because all GitHub is doing, or all Git is doing, is watching this folder here for new files. And if you put a folder in there, it's going to say, hey, I found something. There's new files here. And that's how we link them together. So I'm fond of the GitHub client because this works for any language, any IDE. So like NetBeans has built-in integration with Git. It's a fantastic tool, but then if you go use a different tool, it's a different thing. So I typically use the GitHub client in all my classes, whether or not you're doing Python or C++ or C# or Java, whatever it happens to be, I can still use the GitHub client for all of them. Did you hear about the 2 people who stole a calendar? They both got 6 months. That's a good one, Perp. That's a good one. Yeah, I love dad jokes. My kids are a little sick of them, turns out. They can never tell if I'm trying to be serious or tell a joke. I'm fond of the jokes with the big lead up and everything. So they don't know if I'm actually telling a real story, if I'm just pulling their leg, which is kind of fun. My phone. Got some junk there. All right, how we doing? Oh shoot, is it lagging again? Are we coming back? It's been pretty stable. Pretty stable. Let's see what's going on with that. Let's see, so we have 26 people registered for the class. It's pretty good out of the 30 total. Inspector. Let's see. Let's see what's up with Twitch Inspector. Okay, it says it's pretty stable. Yeah, last night was great up until right about 8 or so, and it just bombed. And I blame Comcast for that. Yeah, that was not great. I thought it was my kids on Zoom, but they're Zooming right now, and it's not bad. Not really sure. And we've been pretty stable here, so this is good. Maybe I'll leave that there. Notify me if it goes bad. All right, so I'll post this link for all my code examples for you folks as well. I'll post the when to meet office hours survey for you to take. We've got the syllabus quiz coming up this week, and we have Project Zero as well. We'll talk about in a little while. So Project Zero is just making sure you have Git set up. You can get stuff into GitHub. It's kind of a joke there. And we can go from there. And then we'll actually get a real assignment when we get to Project 1. Okay. Cool, so some review. So some things we've done in Java that you should be familiar with is writing a class. The code blocks question, that is fantastic. I usually prefer this format where the curly brace starts on its own line. But the default here, if you just auto-format, if you hold Shift, Alt, and F, will auto-format your file, puts the curly brace here. And I know you can change it, but this seems to be the preferred way of doing code here in Java. So I just let the tool format it for me. So usually if I'm writing my own methods, you'll see curly braces like that, but then as soon as I format Shift Alt F, it does it there. So you'll see most of my examples will look like this because I auto format everything. New line braces are ugly. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's all fixable with tools. You know, style, syntax, formatting, those sorts of things. We have tools that can fix it for you. You just hit Control or Shift Alt F, and NetBeans will format it for you. And if you don't like that way of formatting it, you can change the auto format rules. I don't care. So I like that NetBeans will show you with these. It's kind of hard to see. There's like a faint line there that shows where the curly braces go, or the scope of the method, which is cool. And then I have the Darkula theme. I finally got that set back up. I had this idea to show 1500 how to install NetBeans from scratch. So I was like, oh, I'll uninstall mine and reinstall it fresh for them. And I did it, and it screwed up my Darkula theme. And then I can't go re-download it, but I finally got it restored. So I've got the Darkula look and feel because I prefer dark mode. The light mode hurts my eyes. Do you know why Java developers have to wear glasses? Because they don't see sharp. All right. So some examples. So let's add a class here. So not in the method with main, right? Not in the code with main here, but we're going to go add a class to our package. So we're going to go to our package. We're going to say a new Java class. And let's call this class, how about vehicle? We have a vehicle class. Yeah, I'm going to take out these comments because I don't care. I'm typically anti-comment. So to a fault, which is, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but I'm never going to ask you to write comments. I actually took 1500 years and years ago now. How many years ago was that? It was in 2005, the winter semester of 2005. I took Java at OCC as a dual enrolled high school student. And I had everything working in my project. It met all of the objectives, did X, Y, Z that it had to do, but I got a point off because I was missing a comment on one of my methods. And the type of person that I was, wanting to have perfect straight A's, 100% everything, and show off and be like, look, I'm better than you. I've calmed down a little bit, but that was my high school personality. Got really super upset about that. And I swore to myself at that point in time that if I ever taught a class, I didn't know I was going to teach back then, but I said if I ever taught a class, if the project met the objectives but was missing a comment, I would never take points off. And I've stuck to it. I've never required comments. And they're for people, right? The comments are for people so that you can see what's happening. The typical, what we are leaning towards in the industry, and it's sort of a pipe dream and it's not exactly true, but we'll say our code is self-documenting. Our classes will have good, nice names. Our methods will have good, nice names. Our attributes will have good, nice names. So that if you have a attribute like private string for color, you don't need a comment to say this is the color of the vehicle, right? It's called color. You know what it means. That's it, right? We don't need it, right? Are you making a joke about how old I am, Mizuki? That's fair. That's fair. I used to be a lot younger, and then, you know, like, every year you get older somehow. No, you are welcome to comment as much as you want, Married to Pizza. Comment away. I will never require it. So if you don't know what color, so like if you had a thing here for C and you said this is the color, this is stupid, right? You've wasted time because the variable should have a better name like color to tell you it's the vehicle color. Okay? That's what it is. So you don't need comments there. JavaDoc comments are super cool, super useful if you're building an API for other people to use. Hydration, thank you so much, Yuki. I am drinking my full caffeine coffee here because I am exhausted. It's been fun with my toddler. He's not been sleeping well at night, and I'm just tired all the time. So I drink full caffeine coffee all the time. It's amazing. And someone told me one time that coffee's not actually hydrating, and it's actually a diuretic. But you know, it's water. So Lactus Lux in VS Code. Oh, should look into that. I use VS Code, but I've never actually applied any themes to it. I don't think I have. I'm not really sure. All right, cool. All right, so we have a vehicle with color. We have, what else? We might have a private double for, I don't know, max miles per hour. I don't know, sure. How about a private double for fuel tank capacity in, we should do liters here. Liters. So I'm always a big fan of including your unit in your variable name, because otherwise no one has any clue. Okay, so we'll have a max miles per hour of a fuel tank capacity in liters. Might have a private double for I don't know, current fuel in tank in liters. Right? Like, there's nothing wrong with these variable names. They tell you what they are. We'll say this is self-documenting. If you need to leave a comment to tell you what the variable's for, you did it wrong. Okay? That's the rule of thumb. All right. Now, I'm a big fan of being lazy. And I mean that in the nicest sense, in that I don't want to do more work than I need to. I want to be efficiently lazy, like any good developer. So I'm going to use NetBeans now to do the rest of the work for me. So in your code, right, you usually want to have get methods. So I'm going to insert code getters, and I want to have getters for everything. It generates the get methods for me. Get color, get max miles per hour, get fuel tank capacity, get current fuel in tank in liters, and just returns my values. Fantastic. So I have a bunch of get methods. If I want set methods, again, set methods are optional. You don't have to have set methods, right? We only write public methods for things that we want people to have access to. So if they should not be able to change the color, don't give them a method for set color. If they shouldn't be able to change the max miles per hour of fuel tank capacity in liters, don't give them that, right? So maybe I'll have a set color, but maybe I don't want other set ones. I'll generate that set only. So you can change the color and that's it. Yuki, are you having trouble? I think I'm doing all right still. I don't know if I hit that 8 p.m. Comcast outage. Where is it here? So yeah, still seems pretty stable for me. Okay. Yeah, just shout at me. Cool. All right, every now and then, I don't think it's actually Twitch. I think it's just my internet. So like if we're on Zoom, I would go wah, wah, and the screen would just flicker, and it's terrible too. And then everyone like starts talking at each other. I don't know. I have an allergy to Zoom or something. Okay, so we're going to use those set only for color because I don't want the other ones to be changeable, right? I want them to be set once, and I don't want to give you access to change the fuel tank capacity. So then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add a constructor. So if we want those values to be set and not changeable, right? If we want them to be immutable, that's our fancy term for it, they're immutable, I'm going to add a constructor here that takes all of these as arguments. So if you call the constructor, you need to give me the color, the max miles per hour, the fuel tank capacity, and you know what? I'm actually not going to take current fuel in liters. Why not? So I'm going to say my current fuel in liters is 0. Okay? And now I know these are long variable names, but you don't have to type them all. You see, I just typed like CUR, and then it said, oh, do you want this one? Do you want this one? So you can go up, down, up, down, up, down, and then tab will auto-complete it for you. Okay? Immutable is a fancy way. That means they're immutable. Did I say that? That means you can't change them. Immutable is the fancy term for not changeable. Okay? So the constructor's job, remember, a class constructor's job is to set values for all of its attributes. That's the job. That's creating the instance of the class. So if you tell me the color, the max miles per hour, the fuel tank capacity in liters, I'm going to assume it has no gas to start, no gas in the tank, right? Cool. So I've set all my values here, and I'm just going to give it a little format here, and we should be good to go. So now I have a vehicle that I can use. Okay? So you can change the color, but you can't change the other one. So now what I want is I need a way to change the fuel in the tank. Right, so I'm going to add a method, public, I don't know, let's do, for now, we haven't talked about exceptions. We'll get to that. When do we get to exceptions? Where's my syllabus? I think that's next week, right? We really should cover exceptions in 1500, which makes me sad we don't. So I do in my 1500 class, because it irritates me when we don't cover them. Have I mentioned I'm new here as of last semester? Or no, fall semester, as finally became a full-time faculty member. The compiled code will get ignored. So if you build this here, let me comment that out, and we just do run build project, you'll see in my folder, I've got my Java review. There is in a second here, a build folder. So the build folder has, come on, build classes, Java review.class, vehicle.class. It has the class files that got generated, right? My Java byte code. If you come over to GitHub, you're not going to see it because build and distribution have been excluded because they are generated. So anything that can be generated is going to be ignored because we don't need to add it to source control. Source control is for source code, not for other files, right? Anything that we can generate, we don't need to add. It'll just clutter up source control. And Java class files are not text files anyway. If you go and open these like in VS Code or something, they're gibberish. Oh, it's opening on the other window here. There you go. It says, oh, it's not supported. Sure, open it anyway in text editor. Looks like gibberish. Right? Oh, sure. Okay, there's an attribute name. There's an attribute name. Here's a string. Sure. Right? That's meaningless. So being able to look at the differences here is not going to be helpful, and the file is going to change every time anyway. So just the code files will change here. We'll see, oh, I took out some lines, I added in a line. So it's very sensitive to white space. So I took out a tab here, looks like, or a couple spaces, and added in one with no spaces. So it thinks it's different. That's fine. No big deal. So here's my vehicle class. And I'll tell you, commits are free, so you should commit early and often. Because as soon as you have committed and pushed, not just commit, but commit and push, as soon as we pushed, github.com has your code, and it's really, really, really hard to lose it. Okay? Once there's a commit and it's on github.com, if something happens to your computer, which would be terrible, and I feel awful if it happens, your code will still be in github.com. So the most amount of work you're going to lose is from the last commit. So every time you get up and take a coffee break, or if you want to get up and stretch or go use the bathroom, whatever you happen to do, you get up and, or just, hey, if you're going to go check Facebook for a little while, or Instagram, whatever you cool kids do nowadays. I guess Facebook's for old people like me. Just hit commit and push, so it's out there. So that if something happens, you've lost just a little bit of work rather than an entire day's worth of work. At least commit at the end of every day, right? Just commit and push. Get your changes saved and out on github.com, okay? But you can commit as many times as you want. They're free. Facebook for the boomers, is it? You know, the boomers share the weirdest things too. Like, and you just look at them like, I know it says share with all your friends, but that's stupid. Right? You don't have to share this thing with all your friends. Like it's nonsense. But they still do that sort of thing. There's reasons, I guess. I don't know. All right. So as I'm working, I'm just going to commit and push as we go. But it's not going to include the build or distribution folders. It includes my source folder and the project folder so that I can open it up in NetBeans later. All right, so we'll have this Boolean. Oh, I was looking at the syllabus. That's what I was doing. Here we go. Yeah, we'll get to exceptions next week. So for now, we're just going to have a Boolean that will say whether or not this worked. So we'll have add fuel, and we need a double fuel to add in liters. Okay, so we'll have a public method for add fuel. You tell me how much fuel to add. So right off the bat, I want to do some sanity checking. We want to, if we can, and it's difficult sometimes, but you want to engage in defensive programming. Safe programming, safe code, okay? In that, make sure people don't give you bad values. One of the fundamentals of object-oriented programming is that we have encapsulated all the details of my class, which is typically a noun, into this class, right? So all of the details, all the attributes are encapsulated into one nice little package, and the class is now responsible for maintaining its integrity. Okay, so if someone gives you a value that will violate your integrity, you should reject it and puke on it. And we'll look at throwing exceptions next week. Because, sure, okay, that's fine. That can wait till next week. So what we need to do is reject bad values. So we're going to say if the fuel to add in liters is less than 0, if you go to give me a negative value, I'm just going to return false. Boom, rejected, no good. Okay, if you give me something less than 0, it's no good. No, I'm going to post all this code, Harishi, so you can review it later. No need to follow along. If you like to follow along, great, but people tend to get frustrated at me because of how I type and talk, and then they get behind, and then they're not listening, and it's difficult. So I would say just watch for now, and later you can go back and watch the video again if you want to type along with me. But usually I type faster than most people. Later, if you're interested, we can play a game of Type Racer, and you can join and we can see who's the fastest typist. I can frequently get over 100 words per minute. Not all the time. Usually I'm in the 80s to 90s, but I can usually get over 100 depending on what we're typing. I've been typing for quite a while. All right, so if the fuel to add in liters is less than 0, reject it. Say no, false, no good. We did not add any fuel. Okay? Right off the bat. So we're going to defend our integrity here. Make sure that you don't give me a bad value. Because if it's a negative value and I add that here, right, like what we probably would have done is taken our current fuel and we plus equals the fuel to add in liters. Again, I'm not typing these whole things. Sorry, Crow, it blocked the link there. Is that another typing game? So type a couple letters like CUR, and then you can up, down, arrow, and then tab will autocomplete, right? So do more typing, do less work than you need to, right? Be lazy, efficiently lazy. So instead of just adding it here, I'm going to sanity check my value first to make sure, okay, make sure it's not negative. Then if we didn't return, we know the code is good. So an else block here is redundant. You don't need the else block because if it was the if, we've returned and the code is done. Okay, so I'll add it to my tank. Once I've added it to my tank, I still need to do another sanity check. Right, we're not done yet because we need to make sure that we didn't overfill the tank. So I can say if the current fuel in the tank is greater than the max, fuel tank capacity, then we did a bad thing. So if I overfilled the tank, nope, shoot, that's the wrong variable there. Fuel tank capacity. There we go. Fuel tank capacity. So if our current, after we've added the fuel to add, is greater than, we need to reset. We're going to say my current is equal to the capacity. Right? Go back to max, because fuel tank capacity, that's the max here. That's the most we can put in. Okay? And if that was the case, we're also going to return false and tell them a bad thing happened. You just spilled gas all over the place, you idiot. Right? If we overfilled it, we'll pretend like it didn't happen and tell them they're stupid, they poured gas everywhere. Again, this is just pretend. We're just illustrating here. Okay? We're not actually running some sort of like automated filling machine where this would be a terrible thing to spill gas all over the ground. Because we could check beforehand as well if we wanted to. But again, sure. We have different ways. And then if all of that happened and we've not yet returned, we can return true. Right? Because if this was true, we return false. We never got here. If this wasn't true, then I can return true. Sorry, the highlighting here is a little funny, but hopefully you get the idea. Yeah, there's no gas, right? It's just pretend gas. Pretend fuel. Could be petrol. Could be British. Is it also petrol in Canada? I forget. All right, we okay so far? So we can add some gas. Oh, we don't actually use our max miles per hour anywhere. That's okay. We'll get to that later. Here, we should do that. Let's change. Let's instead of do miles per hour, let's I want to reuse this. So I don't want it to be miles per hour. So I'm going to refactor rename. Don't just retype something here and then go find it everywhere else and retype it. Use your tool. So right click, refactor, rename, and we'll call this my miles per liter. Or we shouldn't use miles there. It should be kilometers, right? Kilometers per liter. and refactor. Now we have kilometers per liter, kilometers per liter here. And we need to change it here as well. Okay, so I didn't get it in my constructor, but that's okay. We can fix that. Cool. So now we know how many kilometers will go per liter. km per lemur. Cool. Then we'll add a method, public boolean drive, and we'll give it a double for kilometers to drive. Okay, so if we go drive some number of kilometers here. Sorry, Ray. Yeah, I love showing off all the tips and tricks. I tend not to show everything to the 1500 class, but once you get past 1500 and you've done it by hand once or twice, then you can appreciate the tool doing it for you, for sure. Yeah, refactor rename is fantastic. You can also do a find and replace with H, Control H, find and replace, but the refactor rename is even faster, and then it will even work across files as well. So like find and replace will only work in this file, whereas if we were using it in another thing over here, another file, the refactor would take care of that for you. Yeah, programmers are the laziest people in the world in that we don't want to do more work than we need to. So if something seems tedious and painful to do, you can bet we've already found a shortcut for it, which is fantastic, right? People have solved problems I didn't even know I had, which is super cool. Did it pause, Rishi? Uh-oh, let me take a look. I think I'm okay still, yeah. Seems like it's pretty stable. Can I zoom in? Is that what this does? Look at that. That's really neat. I can zoom. Okay. Yeah, sorry if it has a little bit of trouble here, but I'm assuming Zoom would have the same trouble for anybody with internet issues. It's actually worse, I think, when you have a little bit of lag in a Zoom call, because then like and then super fast, and then maybe you get caught back up. It's terrible. I'm no fan of Zoom University, to a fault. I definitely have many faults, and that might be one of them. But I think I've gotten pretty good feedback so far. I keep asking my classes, let me know what you think, and so far it's been almost all positive for Twitch. I think one person, actually there was someone who failed for cheating, said that I shouldn't be teaching on Twitch because random people come in and ask questions and interrupt the class, and they're going to tell the dean on me. And I said, okay, go talk to the dean about it. You can explain why you cheated too. So other than that, everyone has been positive and said Twitch is a decent platform, because just sitting around looking at people's blank squares on Zoom is terrible anyway. And then if we have to harass people to be like, turn on your camera, please, and you might not have a nice working space at home, or you might be wherever you have to be to get some internet, it's just an awful situation. So I was pretty thankful when our new provost came out and said, let's not require people to turn on cameras, because it could be invading their privacy. So I don't need to see. So this is nice as just a lecture broadcast style. I can take advantage of the Twitch platform, which I think is fun anyway, to do this. And then I get automatic recordings, and I can post the recordings on YouTube, and life is good. So, but do let me know. I'm definitely open to feedback, and always looking to improve. All right, so we got drive. So drive then needs to make sure we can actually get as far as we need to go. King, you nailed it. Yep. All right, so when we drive some number of kilometers, we need to make sure we can use that much gas. So let's check and see, right? So if we know how many kilometers we're going to drive, we can figure out how many liters that's going to take based on our kilometers per liter that we get. Usually we call that miles per gallon, or MPG here in America, but our imperial measurement system is upsetting to me, and I think it's a terrible system. And the metric system is so much better and so much easier, because base 10 is fantastic. Why are there 16 ounces in a cup? And why are there, 8 ounces in a cup and 16 cups in a gallon? I have no idea, right? I mean, the system's just stupid. And I have to explain this to my kids and teach them fractions and things in math class. And, sure, here's all the ways we use it in baking. We have 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon, 4 tablespoons to a quarter cup. Why? It's terrible. How many feet are in a mile? Yeah, 5,280? That's stupid. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. The system actually makes sense. 5 tomatoes, 5,280. I don't know. Sure. Our system is awful. So, yeah, doing everything in kilometers is so much better. So we just need to get used to it. So it turns out, though, if you ask people how tall they are, even if their unit of measure has been metric, they'll usually tell you how tall they are in feet and inches for some reason. That like your height has not usually yet been converted over to metric. So if I tell people I'm like 1.9 meters, it's just not as common. I don't know why. Is that right? Is that even 6'2", 2 meters? 1.9. Oh, 1.87. Okay, I was trying to be a little extra tall. That's. Oh yeah. Okay, that's the fraction of 212. Okay, 1.87 meters tall. Sure. Bing gives me free coffee, Crow. So like, if you sign up for the Bing rewards, you get points every time you search, up to a certain number every day, and then you can redeem it for Starbucks cards, which I used to use a whole lot more when I would leave the house. I actually lost my Starbucks Gold status because I stopped leaving the house. I was kind of sad. But there's a small coffee shop that an acquaintance of mine opened up down the street that I go to now, which is cooler to support a small business rather than Starbucks. But I like going there for coffee. The times I do leave the house. And really, you're selling your data to somebody. If you want to sell it to Google, go for it. If you want to sell it to Microsoft, go for it. Somebody is using that data for something. And Google already has all my info because I run an Android phone. So might as well get Microsoft to pay me for it. All right, so we're going to drive. So we know our kilometers. So we know that the liters required, so a double for, I don't know, liters used is going to be my kilometers to drive divided by the kilometers per liter. Right? So if I get 10 kilometers, oops, oh man, the other kilometers per liter, there we go. So if I get 10 kilometers per liter of gas and I need to drive 10 kilometers, it will use 10 divided by 10, 1 liter of gas. Right? There's some simple arithmetic there. Okay? Then I need to take my current fuel minus the liters used, and then we can check. We can sanity check. If the current fuel in liters is less than 0, I'm going to put it back to 0. Current fuel in liters is 0, and I'm going to return false. You ran out of gas, you idiot. We can also check, too. We should do some sanity checking, right? If the kilometers to drive is less than 0, right? If you're trying to drive negative, just return false. You're an idiot. You can't do that. No good. Okay, so if we're not driving negative distance, and going backwards doesn't count, right? We'll figure out how many liters that's going to use, subtract it from the current tank, and then if we went less than 0, return false. If we didn't return false, we must return true. This was all well and good. You were able to drive. No problem there. And I know this is a terrible example because you get different fuel economy based on your speed and based on the freeway driving, city driving, stopping, starting. This is just an approximation, okay? We're just getting close here. We're not doing anything exact. Right? This is not how it works in a real car. Don't worry. All right, we okay so far? Sorry, my little guy's having some trouble. I'm going to go check on him in a minute. We'll take a break in a couple minutes, and we'll come back and wrap it up and talk about the next project. We've got a couple more review things to do from the appendices. Okay? A couple more things to talk about in a review. And then we'll talk about Project Zero, the first one tonight, okay? All right, so we got our class here. Now let's go use our class, right? Vehicle, why is it red? Is it upset about something? Okay, I don't think it's actually upset. So let's go use it. So over in our code that actually has the main method, right? This is the one that runs. I can make a vehicle. So here's a type of vehicle. We'll call this one, what should we name this vehicle? This one will be by bolt. Equals a new vehicle. This is a terrible example, but it's okay. And we need to give it, so my bolt is gray. And what else do we need to give it here? So vehicle needs color, kilometers per liter, fuel tank capacity in liters. Okay, you know, I can't use my bolt because that's an electric car, and none of this makes any sense. How about we use my transit? So that one is blue. Shoot, I already forgot what those arguments are. Kilometers per liter. It gets about 14 miles per gallon. Let's do 14 mpgs to kilometers per liter. There we go. 5.95. I like it. 5.95 kilometers per liter. And the tank capacity then, what is 24 gallons to liters? 90 liter, 90.8. Sure, 90.8. Why not? 90.8. Okay. Now I have my transit. Okay. Now my transit, right? This is an instance of the vehicle class. Transit dot. Here we go. And now here's all the methods, right? All the public methods. Now you'll notice there's a bunch in here that we didn't write. We didn't write an equals, a get class, a hash code, a notify, notify all, a toString, await, await, await. Those all come from object. Remember, everything in Java inherits from object implicitly inherits from object. So everything is an object. You get all these methods from object. The equals is only going to tell me if it is the same memory location until we go fix that later. And that's one of our objectives, is talking about equals. We'll have a lot of fun with that later. Don't worry. Okay, but I can do these different methods. So let's add some fuel. Let's add, I don't know, let's add 50 liters to the tank. Why not? Okay, and then let's go drive. So transit.drive, and let's go drive. So I just went out to celebrate my nephew's birthday in Ann Arbor, which was, how many miles was that? It's like 30 miles or so. So 30 miles, so 30 times 1.6, right? That sounds about right. 48 kilometers. So let's drive 48 kilometers. And we should check, right? I can say if that returns true, then we'll print. So again, don't type system.out.println. If you type SOUT and you hit tab, NetBeans will fill in the rest for you, because this is really common. It's a shortcut. We do this all the time. We'll print, you drove to Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor. Okay. Else, you ran out of gas, you idiot. Okay. And let's see if it runs. Look at that. We drove to Ann Arbor. We did not run out of gas. We had enough, given our liters in the tank and the kilometers per liter that we're able to travel in my large 12-passenger transit, which is actually now a 11-passenger. We had to take a hunk of seats out to fit a wheelchair. So it fits, right? We were able to drive. Now can we get home? Let's try it again. So let's drive home. So drive home. Do it again. Let's go drive a bunch more. Or maybe we'll spit something out here. Let's say you have, and are you familiar with string formatting? String.format. You remember doing this in 1500? So percent f, floating point numbers, like we want 0.2f to round it off, or like 0.1f, or we'll just, I don't know, point f, I don't know, floating point number. I think we want to round, right? 0.0? Does that do it? I forget. I always look it up how to do the formatting. Liters of fuel left. And what we format in there then is my transit.get current fuel in tank in liters. And that's a little long, right? You don't want to go too far off to the right side. I'm zoomed in a lot, so it's not too bad. But the general rule of thumb is don't make the person looking at your code have to go left and right. That's bad form. Okay, it should fit on a single screen. So that's just a polite thing for your other people. Why is that upset? Parenthesis, another parenthesis. There we go. One more parenthesis for that one. Okay, and let's do that again. I'm feeling bad I have this in here twice, but I don't want to go fix it. That's okay. We can fix it later. Let's go and run that. Oh, and this is drive home. You drove home. Okay, one more time. Run. Oh, we should print out how many liters of gas we have beforehand too. Okay, so we'll say if we add some fuel, you added 50 liters. Otherwise, nope. You spilled the gas, you idiot. All right, and we'll give that a little format. Oh, that should be an else there. Oops. There we go. If else. And we get a little story here, right? So we added 50 liters. Oh, we have 0 liters of fuel left in the new transit. We added 50 liters. We have 50 left. We drove to Ann Arbor. We drove home. Oh, we drive home. We have 42 liters of fuel left. We drive home. Oh, we did that out of order then, didn't we? So we drove to Ann Arbor. And then we'll say driving home. Okay, and we have 34 liters of fuel left when we're done. We don't think we spilled any gas. We did okay, right? We didn't put too much in. Let's say if I went to add like 500 liters of gas, that'd be a mistake. You spilled the gas, you idiot. But I only fit 91 liters. So I spilled 409 liters of gas on the gas station floor. I'm sure they don't care as long as I paid for it. I'm sure that's no problem, right? Okay, so I'm going to put that back because I don't want to be dumb. Let's just add the right number here. Okay, or what we could do, right, if we want to be fancy here, we could say, hey, get me my vehicle, my transit, sorry. Transit.get fuel tank capacity and add the capacity amount of gas. Right? And we added the capacity. Oops, that should be a format then. So we want, let's just do it this way. We'll just add the quote because we can do string concatenation too. Why not? String formatting is probably better, but I'm feeling lazy right now. And, we're just showing multiple ways of outputting text. There we go. We added 90.8 liters. We have 91 liters. Oh, it rounds. Look at that. 0.0f rounds. Who knew that? It does round, doesn't it? How about 0.1 then? 0.1. 0.1. 1. All right, run. All right, awesome. We good so far? All right, why don't we take a break? We'll come back in a little bit. We'll wrap up this example. We got 2 more things to do with this example, and then we'll talk about the next project, and then maybe we'll call it a night. Okay? I don't need 9 decimal places for sure. All right, so let me put some more music on. Come back in a little bit, have some fun. How about say 8:10 or so? Yeah, 8:10, because just about 10 minutes. We'll be back in a little bit.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Rolling Rolls, yeah. Rolls last long, it's TP goals, yeah. Charmin's got 6 rolls in one, lasts forever on my buns. Only Super Mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in one. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Lyrics inspired by State Farm's surprisingly great rates.
But my rates like that, they're great like that, drive safe like that, I save like that, straight up facts, great rates.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Kroger, everything we sell is guaranteed fresher than fresh because our associates constantly check to make sure everything is at the peak of freshness. That means peeking at the peaches, spying on the steaks, and delving deep into the dairy department. So everything we sell is guaranteed fresh or we'll make it right. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get more ways to save at the Buy 5 or More Save $1 each sale. Just buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's okay to do some things halfway, but not when managing your prescriptions. That's why CVS has a tool designed to look for ways that may help lower your prescription costs. That's healthier made easier. Visit CVS today. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Ask pharmacist for details.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to.
Hey, folks. All right, my little kitty wanted to come say hi. This is Merlin the cat. Merlin, can you say hi? Okay, you want to get down? Okay. Just don't climb up on the laptop. All right. Hope you're doing well. We are almost done with the night, so thanks for hanging out so far. You're gonna eat my pizza crust? Really? Just trying to eat my pizza crust. Let's see. Took the kids to play with the pony, but I wasn't able to play with it because it was a little horse. It's a good one. Merlin's eating my pizza crust, apparently. Moxie, you want to come here too? Hi, Moxie. Hi. Oh, come on, sweetheart. Can you come on my shoulder? No, in my lap? Oh, she doesn't want to play. Yeah, come on, go say hi. Say hi. Say meow. There, that's you. All right. So, a couple last things here then. So this is our example with vehicle. And one thing that's a little bit obnoxious was trying to get this status here, like how many liters of fuel we have left and all these sorts of things here. So what would be nice is if our vehicle class had a way to represent itself as a string. So it turns out there's this method toString. Remember, right now we could just print our vehicle. If we system out print line our transit, what we get is garbage because it's the object version of toString. And what you get with the object version is the name of the class at the memory location. Not super useful at all. So what we can do instead is we can override that behavior. Remember, we can override behavior in classes that we are inheriting from. This is overriding here, so we can override our public string toString. And this @ override annotation is fantastic because it's really possible that I typo this and I say toString, lowercase toString, and it yells at me and it says, oh, method does not override or implement a method from a supertype. It gives us compile time checking to say you meant to override something, but you did it wrong. Right? So that annotation is super helpful there to make sure that I am properly overriding the superclass behavior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return a string.format of, I don't know, a what? So present string, color, vehicle with, I don't know, %.1 floating point, liters of fuel left. Sure. And let's format in there then the color and the current fuel in tank in liters. So let's bring that down a line so it's not so bad. And now when I run my review and I do a print line, toString gets called implicitly here because I'm trying to print it. Oops, uh-oh. What did I do wrong? One build failed. Let's take me to that line. Current fuel. Oh, missed my semicolon. There we go. Thank you. All for a semicolon. I will run that again. Now I get a blue color vehicle with 74.7 liters of fuel left. So I can use this then instead of you have this much fuel left every time. So I can just replace this essentially. I'm going to do a find and replace. Let's find this line and replace with that line. All right, we'll do replace. Oh, the find is okay. The find isn't great because it's a multi-line, so that's all right. I'm just going to go do it the old-fashioned way then, I guess. We'll go delete all those. And I'll just highlight the line and paste. Highlight the line and paste. Okay. Oh, you know what? I had forgot to commit earlier, too. That's all right. So here's more vehicle examples. Make sure I've saved everything and run it. And now we'll get a nicely outputted toString every time here. The blue color vehicle with 0 liters of fuel, 98.7, 82.7, 74.7. Okay. And we'll commit and push that. That's some basic review of classes. Okay, I also want to spend a little bit of time reviewing array lists and arrays. So depending on who you had for 1500 or 2151, I've heard this might not have been covered as deeply as I might have expected. So an array list, right, is array list, and use these greater than less than signs to say what type it is. An array list of type, say string. Here we can store a bunch of string values. It's like an array, but it's resizable. So array lists are fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, I know Dr. Baugh does all the time. It's other profs I'm a little more concerned about. So we'll call this kids equals a new array list of type string. Or, you know, we could even have this on a separate line. We could say this is declaring it here, and this is instantiating it. Right? It doesn't have to happen on the same line. So you can declare a variable, and then you can instantiate it. So declaring it just tells Java you're going to have one. Instantiating it actually initializes it in memory. I'm sorry, Yuki. I've got a list of things to work on and talk with my discipline about, my department about, all things CIS. So find me offline and let me know who that was. We should definitely be doing both. And I've had some conversations already with some folks, but right now NetBeans says, I don't know what an array list is. So the little light bulb says, oh, do you want to add the import? Yes, please. Add import java.util.arraylist. Right? We can import this from the java.util package. Right? This is our Java standard library. All the libraries come with Java here. We can do all sorts of cool things. We just have to add the imports. And I'm a big fan of not having to type it myself. And now it is telling me I don't need to use string here again, because once you've declared a type, you don't need to use it again over here. So this string can come out. And it can just be empty. They call this a diamond here. It can just be an empty diamond, because it knows it's of type string over here. And then what I can do is I can take kids, and I can say I want to add a bunch of strings. Right? So I'm going to add my kids. So I'll have joy, and I'll take kids.add, and I'll add Jeb. Notice I don't have to tell it how large this array is. I just keep adding things as many times as I want. And I have Vivi. It was actually a Genevieve, actually. And I have I'll add Journey, and I'll add Jubilee, and then I'll add Jackson. That's my 6 kids. So I can add them this way. If I was using a regular array, I might have a string array. We'll call this, I don't know, the kids array. Why not? Equals a new string. And then with a string array, you have to tell it the size. With a basic array, you have to tell it how big it is. And it is a fixed size. You can't add from it. You can't remove from it. You can set the values at the given indexes. So kids array at 0, I can set to be joy. And then kids array at 1, I'm just going to copy paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, your indexes are 0 up to, but not including the length. So 0 to 5. So Joy, Jeb, Vivi, Journey, Jubilee, and Jackson. He goes by Jack. Maybe I'll just put in Jack there. Okay? So now there's an array. So an array list or an array. Either one's perfectly fine. I will almost always prefer array lists. Again, they're more flexible, so I think that's easier. Arrays are slightly faster because they don't have all the overhead of being an object, but most of the time we don't care too much. And then to loop through them, 2 ways, right? We can usually do the for index is 0, index is less than my kids dot. Now, an array list has a size property or size method that tells you how many items it has. Index plus plus. And I'm a big fan of always using index. I hate when people use I, because I is really easy to look like a different variable, and it's not hard to type index. So don't worry too much about it. So from here, then we can say we want to print, we'll take my kids.get, and you use get instead of the square brace notation, and we get a particular index. We'll get the index out. We'll print the kid's name out that way. So that's a loop using index. We can also use the enhanced for loop. So we could say for string kid colon kids. So for each item, we're going to call kid. It's a type of string from the kids collection here. We'll print out the kid's name. Okay, that's with array lists. And they work the same way now with arrays, essentially. The syntax is just a little bit different. So now it's my kids array. So the enhanced for loop is the same, right? It works the same way. Remember, these are read-only. So you can't change the value here and have it be changed in the original array. Right? With the loop here, using an index, you use the length property, which is not a method. So it's dot length, no parentheses. And then you get out the kids array square brace of index, right? Index of the index value. So you read this square brace, you say like index of, is usually how we'd say that. Okay. And again, NetBeans is trying to be helpful. You can write these different ways. This functional operation, don't worry about that. We might get into that later, but it's nothing we need to do using the lambda notation. I think this actually is cleaner than the other way, but sure, that's just me. I've probably been doing it this way for a while. Oh, I'm out of coffee. That's really sad. This one's empty, empty, empty. Any more beverages? Hi, Moxie. You gonna come say hi? You gonna come up and say hi again? Yeah? No, you didn't be shy? See your little tail right there. Come on, sweetie. Okay, you gonna go down there? Right, stop jumping up then. Your nails are sharp. Okay, you going down or up? Pick a direction. Sorry, I get distracted easily. Yeah, the for each things. All right, so those are different ways of looping through arrays and array lists. So let me pull up my GitHub client. This is arrays and array lists. Commit and push. Hang on. Don't climb up. You can't go up there. You're going to step on my keyboard. You're going to push the wrong buttons. All right. Cool. So I think we're good for the review so far. So go through, after you get your textbook here, go through appendices A through E. It should be review. If something's new, please let me know. I'm assuming all of this is review for you, but want to make sure we all have a good level set base. I know some people haven't taken 1500 just in the previous semester. They took it a little while ago, so it's good to do some review. Next week, we're going to get into the ADT bag, generics, and exceptions, and we'll finally look at exceptions again. I know, sweetie, I know. I know, right? She's got the cutest little cry. There you go. There you go. Go up on my shoulder. Yeah, 2017. So it's been a little while, so some review is definitely good here. Yep. All right. So let's talk about the project. Go to assignments here, and I gotta grab it from over here real quick. So I need to do a little bit of copy paste. There we go. This will be our project 0. Oh, sweetheart. All right, and let me add a new grade here for project 0. Sounds good. This is due next week by 6 p.m. So by the start of class, you need to have this one done. That's the goal. So 3 points. All right, let me grab this here. So go ahead and post in that learning partners here. You want to find a learning partner for this assignment, someone who can help you work together to get all your tools installed and set up. Here, it's just a little get to know you thing here. So there's a link here for classrooms.github.com. I'm going to try and use this for all of our projects here. It sets up an automatic repository for you. Hey, sweetie. And then I'll show you what to do with that repository in just a minute. You're going to submit a URL to the feedback pull request. I'll show you where that is in a minute. So our Java application, this is nothing fancy or interesting at all. No, sweetie, don't go up there. There's not room for you up there. You're just going to print out some information about yourself for me. Your name, your pronouns, programmer major, reason for taking the course, what you hope to get out of the course. And it's really okay if you just say you just want a passing score for transfer credit. There's nothing wrong with that. And then anything else you'd like to tell me about yourself. So if you're in my other class, this will look really familiar. Yes, same as 2151. So if you did it for 2151, just submit the same URL. You're all good. No big deal. This is my making sure you have NetBeans up and running or your favorite IDE. You have GitHub working, and you can find the assignment in GitHub Classrooms. Okay? And then a chance to meet somebody as a learning partner who you can chat with the rest of the semester and get to know somebody in this lonely, desolate world of remote learning. Okay? So let me add a little rubric here real quick for you. So this is just 3 points. So all of my projects will have a rubric here. You either did the thing or you did not do the thing. So you get points or you don't get points based on what pieces you accomplished. Okay, so if it's missing, you get no points. If it's there, you get points. Complete, 1 point. Okay, so part 1 is, let's see, you committed all Java files via Git and not the file upload option. In your repository, there's a button for add file upload. Please don't use this. This is not how the tool is meant to be used. It's an abuse of the tool. So you're getting points for doing it the right way, which is putting the files in your GitHub repository folder using commit and push. Okay? So commit and push everything. And it will automatically ignore the things that you don't need. Okay? So you get 1 point for doing that. Then you get, where did I go here? You get a point for submitting the link to the feedback pull request. So I'll show you where that is in a second, but what I'd like you to give me is a particular URL here to your repository, because this is your GitHub username will be attached here. I don't know who you are if you're not using your real name, and that's okay. You don't have to. Just give me your GitHub repository, the pull request link, and I'll show you that in a second. That way I can grade it easily and it attaches to you. Okay? So you get a point for doing that, and then you get a point for actually doing the right thing. So the Java program outputs all the requested information. Okay, 3 points for that. And this overall score thing is obnoxious. Yeah, exact same repo, Ray. Apologies if you're in more than one of my classes. I'm doing this for all of them. Everyone gets the same first project. It's just, can you get your NetBeans up and running? Give me something in GitHub. So 3 points, I guess. This is overall score. Okay, and I'll attach that rubric. Yes, so I'll be exporting these out, corn puffles, to YouTube. You can also watch the VODs on Twitch, but they only stay for about 45 days on the Twitch VODs. So whichever you prefer, watching it again on Twitch or on YouTube, it's up to you. Everything will be exported out for anyone who wants it asynchronous or wants to watch it again. Yep. All right, so I'll save and close that. Hi, sweetie. All right, and then let me click this link here. Yes, only once for you, Yuki. You can get credit for all 3 classes. Yep. That's right. I've heard I can highlight them. I don't know if I'm going to put them over in YouTube anyway. I don't know if it matters to keep it over in Twitch. I don't know. It's like felt like one more thing I had to do. So the GitHub Classrooms link will say, "Hey, do you want to accept this assignment?" I've already accepted it. Hey, sweetie, you're knocking my cans down. So it'll make a repository for you and say, okay, give me a second. You refresh after about 5 seconds. You can click the link. This will take you to your repository. It's got a project 0 there for you. I started this with Gradle and I had big plans. The GitHub Classrooms lets me do this thing called an auto grade, which is really cool, and I have plans to make it work. And then all of a sudden I installed the new version and it doesn't work with Gradle. So I have to go back to the drawing board this weekend and try and play with it. A group finding text chat to Discord. So I didn't want to add anything to Discord there because Discord is public, just like Twitch is public here. So we could have randoms in Discord. So I thought you'd want to find partners there in D2L, which is limited just to the registered users, registered students in the class. Okay, so you'll have a repository here. It'll say project 0 - your username. You can click on code and open with GitHub Desktop. You create a clone of the repository and it'll make the folder for you. So we'll open in desktop, say open. I already have it cloned, so I can skip that clone step. Oh my goodness, these are all the Gradle tests I was doing. I don't want any of that garbage, so I'm just going to say discard all changes here. That's fine. So you can also trash stuff from the Git client if you discard things. It will undo any changes and put you back at your previous commit, which is really cool. I know, sweetheart, I know. Are you jealous? You jealous? She's being really needy. I've been busy all day. All right, so I'm going to go to repository, show an explorer, and I'm going to grab this path. And I'll go back to NetBeans. We'll say file, new project, Java with AMP, Java application. Make sure I'm in that repository now. I'm going to change the path to that repository. And this is project 0. I'm just going to say again, because I've already done it yesterday and the day before. And I have a new project. So if I go back to my GitHub client, it should say, hey, there's a bunch of new stuff. Perfect. If it's seeing the new stuff, we got it in the right location. Okay? Then my project needs to spit out a bunch of things. So we're going to S out a bunch of things here. So we'll do name, pronouns, program that you're in, why you're taking the class, what you want to learn, get out of the class, and anything else you want to know about you. So Eric Chernesky, he, him. I'm in the Doctor of Engineering program. I am the teacher. And I hope you learn more about data structures, how to use them, and maybe love Java. All right, let me see. Can I just whack that down the line? Okay. It does not like that. Oh, no, it does. Okay. It ended the quote, though, didn't it? Shoot. Multi-line prints are ugly. I'm sorry. Why? Oh, it added it for me. I didn't even see that. Okay. And learn to love them. And then anything else about a giant proud nerd. Okay. So I'm going to save that, give it a little format, and I should see in GitHub now, it has all this stuff. Perfect. And I'll give it a message. This is project 0 done. We'll say commit and then push. All right, and I'm going to go repository, view on GitHub. Now I'm going to make sure I have the file out there. So it takes you to your repository. I see project 0 again. I can click that link. It's a folder. It opens up the contents. I can see the source, project 0 again. See project 0 again. I can look in here. Does it have all the required stuff? If you see all of your code, you're good to go. Then what you're going to do, what you're going to submit now, you come over to this pull request section, pull request 1, click on feedback. This here is a view of all the code you're turning in. So it's got all your other project files. Don't worry about it here. But down probably at the bottom is going to be the project0.java again. Here we go. And what I can do, because GitHub is a code collaboration tool, is I can add an individual line number, say, give you some kind of feedback here, like glad you showed up, and add a comment, and you'll get that message in your code, right? Or if you're having trouble with your code, you can say, hey, I need some trouble, give me the link. So you don't have to give me the pull request, you can just give me the code too. But what I'd like you to submit is this link to the pull request here. And this is what you submit, pull/1 for your project 0. And that's what you turn in. Okay, and that's it for project 0. So 3 points essentially, just working through, making sure your tools are working, making sure your Java code works. If you want to do it with IntelliJ, that's fine too. I'm okay with that. If you want to use a different editor, someone used VS Code last semester, that's cool too. Just make the project in that directory, and we should be good to go. I can probably figure out how to get it going from there. What I don't want is for you to drag and drop or upload individual Java files. I want the entire project, I want the entire solution added. So that makes life easier, and that's what the tool is made for. Okay? I'll close down NetBeans. Close this one up, and you'll just submit that there. So save and close. and we should be in good shape. All right. I'm not going to bother with a quiz over these appendices because it's all review knowledge. When we get into next week chapters 1 through 3, I'll add all that. Let me come back here. So here's the course repository. Let me make a link. Course repository. Excuse me. Okay, so you can find our GitHub repository here. All the code examples I do in class will show up in that repository from there. Right, so again, we'll plan 6 to 8-ish, 8:30-ish, no later than 9 if I can help it, because everyone's just going to get bored and you need time to practice this anyway. Every night, every Wednesday, up through August 18th. We don't have any break this summer semester, which is really unfortunate. So we are just going straight through every week. The chapter quizzes I'm going to give you over each section here. So one for chapters 1 through 3, one for 3 and 4, one for 5 and 6. So one a week will be your incentive to keep up with the text in the reading. Again, you don't have to memorize anything, but read through it and know what material is where. So if a question comes up about, hey, let me know about efficiency of algorithms, can you explain big O notation, something, go to that section, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so know where to go look this stuff up. Project 1 is due next week, and then we have a project every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks we'll have a project due up through the midterm. No project after the midterm. So project 4 will be due the night of the midterm. You'll have the midterm that day to do, and then we'll pick up the final project on the 21st, and we'll have that entire month to work on the final project. Okay? Sticks, you're always welcome, of course. Always welcome to come on by. And on-topic questions are always encouraged, as if you're not sure about something, I'm sure someone else is not sure about it either. So happy to entertain on-topic questions. Another shout out to my friends at the Knowledge Fellowship. That's !TKF. Awesome streamers. If you want to pick up knowledge about anything at all, there's probably somebody who streams it, which is pretty cool. Just a really cool group. It's one of the things I love about software engineering. It's just an amazing community of people who, almost all of them, just love to share the information that they have. Like Stack Overflow is ridiculous. No one gets paid to post on Stack Overflow and answer people's questions. We just happen to work together as an industry to solve common problems and help each other. Yep. Cool, so some get posted. You got some syllabus quizzes on already. Don't forget that's due next week. I'll post a little recap for you folks. We can go from there. Any other questions for tonight? If not, we can go find somebody to go raid here. Oh, my friend Lantern Noir, he's playing Dungeons & Dragons. He is amazing. We should go check out his channel because it's lots of fun. Totally unrelated, just fun. My favorite language is C#. All right, you folks take care. I'll be hanging out afterwards. Feel free to ping me on Discord, call, text me, email me after class. We can take a look and see what's going on. Make sure all your tools get installed. So find your learning partner, pair up with somebody, see what we can do to work together to get this all solved, and we'll see if we can go hang out. Okay, Sticks, you took it last semester. Was that with Dr. Baugh last semester or somewhere else? I forget where you go to school. You're one of our students, right? I think you are. All right, everybody, take care. Come on, right now. Click the button. Can it work?
Hey.
Maybe it'll work. Try to click the button for raid. There we go. Later.